Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video we will be talking about a very unique system that will be occurring this week. It's going to be finally I could officially call it a fall storm without any sort of controversy, as it will be a meteorological fall and astronomical fall on the 21st. Definitely powerful, probably the largest one we've seen in quite a distance, and it's going to bring quite a bit of rain for a good portion of the United States. So there's definitely many things to talk about. The good thing is that the models are in actually stunning agreement with each other, the European, Canadian, and GFS. There are some differences in terms of track, but overall they are in agreement. So that's definitely a good thing. And I will be kind of showing you when to expect the worst of this storm, when it's going to be occurring, and which areas are going to be impacted, and what's to follow after that. All right. Before we get into this, if you guys are new to this channel, hello, welcome. I am a enthusiast, a hobbyist. I talk about the weather, and check out the video, check out the channel, see if you like this stuff, and obviously if you do, consider subscribing, consider liking the video. Don't do that just because I told you so. And if you have any comments, concerns, questions, leave them down below, as I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, let's start talking about this. So first off, what I want to show you is the European model, and I'm using pivotal weather today on every single weather model. Usually I show you the GFS and Canadian on tropical tidbits, but for some reason tropical tidbits is having some sort of a error. It's having a hard time loading, and that is not on my end. It's something to do with the website. The servers are down, but that's okay. We always have pivotal weather. It's another great website. And notice right now we do have rain that is across the northwest, and it has made landfall. It's produced quite a bit of rain across the northwest. Definitely much of that was needed, and hopefully that is the start of something that we continue seeing the rain across the northwest. They are in a pretty bad drought in some areas, so they need it. Notice that by today, and really this is 2 o'clock a.m. tomorrow, so in about 7-8 hours, depending on which time zone you live in, we will start seeing showers and storms erupting pretty vigorously across the upper plains. What that means is, well, we see a low pressure developing. That's why this little head of showers is developing. That will bring rain for Minnesota, North Dakota, Nebraska, South Dakota. Most models agree on this. Again, we also will see, if you recall, I've been talking about this in my previous videos, not yesterday, but I think few days back, I was saying that this low pressure will lift up all this tropical moisture that is in the southern United States and lift it finally to the north. That will kind of lift the burden from many of those states across the south, but it will transport a lot of that moisture to the north. Notice by even 7 a.m. Monday morning, this is what the map looks like. And you can see, Chicago, Indianapolis, southern Wisconsin, probably seeing some rainfall. This won't be 100% widespread, right? But if you're seeing the rain, it may be heavy. If you're not, you'll probably just see clouds and some dreary weather. So kind of hit or miss. Notice this band of showers and rain starts extremely, intensifying as it approaches Minnesota. What that means is, well, maybe not so much severe weather. There definitely is a possibility for it, but heavy rain. And honestly, it's more of a good thing because it won't be super long lasting, and a lot of these areas do need that rain. So I view it honestly as more of a good thing. Notice that moisture across the south, it continues, and some of that tropical activity does continue into the day. But look, by 3 p.m. it's still going, right? But by 7, it's winding down, but we still see this low pressure, kind of the parent system, still going strong. And look what happens. It starts dragging itself towards the east. We see a line of showers, storms, split it into Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, into Missouri. And at this point, this doesn't look impressive. However, look what starts happening. We start seeing a trough, and this is actually very important. See this trough behind this system? That's basically these lines, and it's basically telling us that there's a cool air mass right there, pretty much getting pushed here, partly behind that low pressure and from a high pressure to the west. What this means, well, always on the southeastern quadrant of these troughs, there is very strong winds, and this isn't at the surface. These are winds that are very high up in the atmosphere, several thousand feet up, and it's almost like a river of winds. What this does to a storm system is, if there's enough energy, sometimes these storm systems form new strengthened little vortices or low pressures. And look what at this point, this is what every single model does with this system. Look, we start seeing a kind of a conglomeration of precipitation across the southeast into late Tuesday. And by late Tuesday night, we see this cold front. It has stalled out. It's barely moving. It's just advancing just a little bit again, producing rain all along. And again, look, by Wednesday morning, so this is very early Wednesday, 2 a.m., we start seeing that cold front still there in the very same place, but it starts taking up a axis that is more positive. And what I mean by that, well, look at this. We start seeing this low pressure slow down. You can see that the cold front's pretty much stalled out at this point. And look, it starts shifting to the north. Look at that, into Ohio, Indiana. You know, you're still dealing with rain into Wednesday afternoon and into late, this is now late Wednesday and into early Thursday. Look, we see a completely new low pressure develop. Again, kind of because of that trough right there. That old cold front's over here. But look, we have a whole area of precipitation with heavy rains, strong showers, definitely a flooding threat, as this will be occurring. Look, this is at this point early Thursday morning, still ongoing, potentially backspilling into areas that saw that rain on Monday, into Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin. The European model is the one model that puts this low pressure the furthest to the west. Other models develop this a bit further towards the east. Regardless, it looks as if the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes region, will see quite a bit of rain. This is the status of the update at Thursday. Early in the morning, around 7. So I would say just morning, not early morning, just morning. And you can see it's affecting a lot of Pennsylvania, Virginia, with that old cold front across southeastern Canada. And we do have an area of strong winds, potentially some lake effect occurring on to Lake Michigan, onto Chicago, so if that low pressure is that close. Indeed, obviously that would be lake effect of rain showers, not snow, not cold enough for that yet. But this system does move to the north eventually and finally push out, but you can see it does drape a cold front across the northeast. That is relatively slow moving with quite a bit of showers and storms, but it finally pushes out. Notice a little bit of a precip follows, and that is kind of from a separate system, a bit of chilly air. So at this point, we're almost a week in a time, and we're still dealing with that same system. Obviously, it has undergone a lot of transformations during that time, but yeah, very, very long lasting, and that's why I'm calling it a unusual storm system, and quite a bit of chilly air will be kind of left in its wake. First off, let's take a look at that total accumulated precipitation. There will be quite a bit of it. Actually, let's not go all the way to 240. Let's just take that system into consideration. Obviously, a lot of rain across Minnesota and potentially the Dakotas, where that first band forms. Not as much, but a half an inch to an inch, that's decent rain. You're not going to really flood from that, but it's going to provide some relief. Iowa, potentially seeing some rain. Again, that is good news. You need that. So that is definitely a change. Earlier, the models, some of them were showing not much precip for you. Now they're showing a bit more, so that's good. Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, you could see a bit spotty, right? But an inch to 2 inches definitely possible, especially if that system right here, pushes a bit some of that backwash precip on Thursday and Wednesday. That can increase some of those totals. But look at Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky, Tennessee. Generous amounts. Many areas seeing 2 to 3 inches with. At this point, I am almost confident that there will be pockets of up to 5 to even 6 inches of rain. And right there, it seems to be the bullseye in Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, 2-3 inches. The Northeast seeing very heavy amounts of rain. Unfortunately, southeastern Canada seeing decent rains as well. Toronto, right around 3 inches. And this really stretches up into Montreal, Ottawa, Quebec, seeing around 1.8 inches. Again, this varies a bit, but it seems rather confident at this point. It's going to be quite a good rain event. The southeast, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, 1 inch, 2 inches. That's more to do with the tropical activity. But yeah, still quite a bit of rainfall is expected. And look at that, right there into California. I just realized that there could be quite a bit of rain right there. I actually don't know. I'm curious myself. I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's going to be occurring next weekend potentially. Look at that. Quite a bit of rain potentially for you right there on the coast, and very localized, but hopefully that does occur. You could get some rain from that. That's pretty decent. Hopefully it doesn't flood you out though. Yeah, so I got distracted there, but yeah, decent rains. Let's take a look at different models, since that's just one model. There's a lot of things to look at that, but See, the thing is, that's like one model, and think of it as one news source. It could be right, it could be wrong, it could be biased, so it's best to look at several models. And this is the Canadian, so it's a different kind of perspective of this system. And obviously, if you have different perspectives and are all lining up, you have pretty good confidence that that system will be occurring. It's the worst when you have one model showing this, one model showing that, and one model showing this, and you have to go on off of really small intricate details and assume which one has a better handling on it, which is often where errors occur. Thankfully, though, you can see that Canadian shows very similar things across the plains into today and tomorrow. Right off the bat, develops that storm, that cold front, lots of rain already across Wisconsin. Definitely a bit stronger than what the European shows, and it does weaken a bit as it pushes again towards Illinois, Michigan, Missouri. This is again into early Tuesday morning. This is Tuesday afternoon, and look, it does start transforming that system, that cold front, into a low pressure. This is now Tuesday late at night. This is Wednesday early in the morning. This is Wednesday in the afternoon. And look, we have that low pressure, that cold front stalled out. Very heavy rain across Ohio, Indiana. Let me just slide this forward. The Canadian is a bit more progressive with it, and it develops that low pressure a bit further towards the east across more Pennsylvania, West Virginia, versus where the European developed. If you recall, it transformed some of that rain or kind of pushed it back into the Chicago area. This one, not so much. It's further towards the east, and you can see into Ohio, Pennsylvania, though obviously still heavy rain, just again further towards the east. So yeah, more rain, and into Friday. This is now Friday during the day. It drapes that cold front across the northeast. Lots of rain into Canada, into the northeast United States, and a bit of that chillier air and a little bit of that precip that the Canadian showed as well from a separate, smaller system. So yeah, definitely impressive. I wouldn't say good news for the Northeast. You could be seeing a lot of rain, and yes, it's been a while since you saw that flooding from Ida, but the soil still can't tolerate several inches, and it looks as if that's going to be on its way from this system. And taking a look at this Canadian model, it shows even higher amounts for the Northeast than what the European did. Look at that. Some areas I got 5-6 inches from Ida. They could be seeing 2 to 3 inches. Hopefully not enough to cause anything significant. Notice Illinois, Iowa. Canadian model not showing much for Western Iowa, unlike the European. So again, these differences will be trivial, small, but they're there. And notice the decent amounts for Minnesota right there, Wisconsin, inch and a half. As we start pushing into towards Ohio and Pennsylvania, we start getting amounts that are 5, 6, maybe even some 7-inch totals. Look at that. Very, very significant, and that stretches all the way across the southeast and into southern Canada. Look at that. Toronto, according to this model, 5-6 inches. Not good. That is just a bit too much rainfall. Albany, Vermont, New Hampshire, 2, 3, 4 inches. This would be awesome if this were to occur a bit further towards the west. I would gladly take 7 inches, and so would the soil. We're in a 7-inch deficit. Of course, Mother Nature doesn't care, and it oftentimes places rain wherever it wants. And in this case, this is one part of the United States that's been rather wet this year. Hopefully, this rain doesn't cause much flooding. But, if a model shows 5-6 inches, a model like the Canadian, GFS, or the European, especially when there's thunderstorms, there will be localized amounts in the double digits. Hopefully, they won't be widespread or significant. Okay, now let's take a look at the GFS. The GFS is a very good model. It's rather reliable, I would say, and it has been used for many years now, and has a good track record overall. Let's take a look at its latest model run right there. Right, so this is today. It will already start erupting today across the plains. It's been snowing in Yellowstone for quite a while now, so it's been pretty cool to see the first snowstorm for Yellowstone, if you will. Notice right there into Illinois, Indiana, we have those kind of those tropical showers occurring that this low pressure picks up. Definitely something to watch for. And then there's our cold front, very significant, potentially some severe weather, heavy rain as it shifts into, say, Davenport, right, the Quad Cities, southern Wisconsin by late Monday, by a bit later Tuesday in the late at night into the Chicago area, into Missouri, just passing Kansas City after say 2 o'clock in Tuesday, maybe a bit after midnight. And then look, just like the other models, it does start going through the transformation, and it stalls out the cold front. Lots of rain continuing for many hours. This is now into late Tuesday, early Wednesday. This is now late Wednesday into early Thursday. The GFS a bit more progressive than the Canadian and the European. You can see further towards the east, it doesn't stall it out as much, but it definitely does kind of show that slowdown of that system, centering it more across Canada. But look, the northeast does pick up quite a bit of rain. So does the mid-Atlantic and the south. After that, the Canadian does clear it out, and so do most models. I kind of didn't focus on that, but I do want to say that even if you see a lot of rain, it looks as if there won't be any systems that are giant that come afterwards in the near future. So there will be many days for that rain to dry out. So all in all, not a bad, horrible situation. Even if all that rain does fall and cause flooding, it does not. It does not look to be really that bad. As you can see, that pattern is honestly just quite honest, very, very dry. Obviously, we do start seeing activity towards the long range, notably potentially snowstorm across southern Canada and Montana, according to the latest GFS model run, and more precipitation, but we'll just have to wait and see, as that is still very, very far out. So let's stop it at hour 198 and click at 201 and take a look at that precipitation from that system. Look at it, very, very significant. Again, the GFS a bit less because of how progressive that system is, but notice Wisconsin, Minnesota, pockets of 1, 2, 3 inches, and definitely where that system stalls out across Canada, it does still show those amounts approaching 5 to 6 inches in Ohio, 3, 4, the northeast, 1 to 2, and the southeast also 2 to 3. So very significant amounts of rain either way you put it, and where the thunderstorms do occur, it's going to be much more significant. All right, let's take a look at that NAM 3km continental United States. This is a very, very, very high res model, so this shows extreme thunderstorm activity, right? Or kind of localizes it to that. And notice that it's way more fine, right? You could tell it's more high resolution. This only takes us through hour 60, so it doesn't even show that system kind of expanding across the east. I do already see some errors with this, or most likely what's not going to happen. First off, it's an outlier in the sense that, look, it does show some of that tropical moisture, but it's already more impressive on the radar than what it's showing, so it's probably underdoing that. That cold front, I would say it does a decent job, probably going to be much thicker than what the NAM 3km shows, and maybe not as severe weather kind of ready as this one is showing it to be. A bit more feisty, and it really weakens it as it pushes into Illinois, Indiana. Again, I think it will be a stronger system than what this model shows. But you can see that there are some interpretations of the models that show this system being much weaker than what the global accurate, more accurate models, I would say, at this point show. Let's take a look at the NAM. This is the relative to the NAM 3km, but from what I saw yesterday, it does a better job. You can see it does show that tropical moisture a bit better. Some of that activity also does show a bit stronger, but again, I would still say it's kind of an underestimate compared to what may be occurring with this. But look, it does show that system very, very strongly occurring once that redevelopment shows. So I think that could be an accurate interpretation, but up until that occurs, I think it's underestimating some of that rain across the upper Midwest and the South. But taking a look at the rainfall amounts, even if there is an underestimation at some points, it's already pretty significant. Look at that, 5, 6, 7 inches. These models are high res, so they tend to show those higher pockets of isolated rain, which is going to occur. Where it's going to occur, it's hard to tell. Probably somewhere in the mid-Atlantic area and kind of inland portions of the northeast and southeastern Canada. But locating it down to the city, even the county, it's rather impossible, if just not completely impossible. RDPS, a Canadian high res. Look at this. It does show quite a bit of rain across the upper plains here, southern Canada. And with that first wave, the cold front does show pretty significant rain. And then look across Indiana, Ohio, those 2-3 inch rain amounts. The Carolinas, I do want to mention that, the southeast may also be picking up quite a bit. Look at that, 10.23. And this doesn't even take us through the whole system. It's still ongoing when this model stops at hour 84. So definitely not the best thing in terms of the rain, just a bit too much. But, what can you do? Not much. The HER model, this is a high-res model that goes out to 48 hours. It does a relatively good job on most instances, and if we were to take a look at what it shows, well, it shows that tropical moisture, shows that cold front developing, lots of rain from that. You can see affecting, again, already Indiana, Illinois, with that tropical moisture by tomorrow early in the morning, then the plains, and into portions of Minnesota by again late Monday. Then we see that cold front start to develop, pretty powerful, pretty nasty, as it pushes into Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana by Tuesday, late Monday, early Tuesday. And again, it only goes out to hour 48, and this is where that system starts intensifying. But already up until the hour 48 mark, some decent rain amounts across, Illinois, Wisconsin, 1, 2 inches potentially. And look at that, where that tropical moisture kind of funnels to the north. Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky, 2, 3 inches, not out of the question. So yeah, that's basically all the models I wanted to show you that are high res and are decent. This is actually another model that's pretty good, the RAP, and you can see that it shows also decent rain amounts already up until hour 51, not showing that second phase of it, which arguably is where most of that rain will fall. All right, guys, that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully, you got a good look of what's to come. Yeah, you can see right there. Don't turn around, don't drown. That's the best message that the National Weather Service can send right now. As you can see, there are already areas under flash flood watches and warnings. This precip will be funneling to the north, and you can see higher confidence in some heavy rain. And I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the week we see these watches and warnings further towards the north and east. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next episode. Stay safe. See ya.